Welcome, it's been a while, and it appears you're playing classic Paladin, especially in hardcore. Wrong. Okay, so to start off, let's talk about the usual build, that is having a big, nice two-hander with strength build, and we'll also go into retribution and of course get seal of command. So this definitely has a high upside in terms of damage. However, if we're a bit unlucky at some point, we might be in trouble. And usually paladins are pretty safe to play, so the only thing that's actually gonna kill us is gonna be running out of mana. And that's usually how people die as a rat, right? You put like one too many mobs, you have 2 or 3 mobs on you, you could kill them, but you're running out of mana, so you can't heal yourself or like judge and shit like that. So my plan, and what I suggest should be your plan if you're playing a paladin, should be to trade strength for intellect, going holy to get consecration and then into protection instead of going retry. And instead of using a big slow two-hander, you either want a fast two-hander or you want a fast one-hander and a shield. The one-hander shield is probably the safest. Like, you'll live a lot longer. You can also AoE farm a bit, at least from 20 and onwards. However, a fast two-hander is going to be really good, but it's also really hard to get a fast two-hander, especially on the fresh. So, like an item like this Herring Blade has a really fast swing speed of 2.5, which is really good for a two-hander. So that one is really good, but the chances of you actually getting it is probably very low, and also like money is going to be an issue on a fresh server, right? Your safest route is probably going a fast one-hander, such as Thieves Blade, even though it doesn't have like super high DPS. It's really fast, and we're going to get a lot of Seal of Righteousness procs from it. So usually what we'll do is stack int and stamina gear as much as we can. We have a luxury being paladins that we don't need to buy mount at 40. And with that in mind, I would suggest you to try to trade like in zone chats and channels as much as you can, and just buy everything that you can. Everyone is going to be scrambling for cash. It's going to be a very low amount of cash and gold in the game, especially on launch. So you should be able to pick up good items like barely over vendor price, I hope. Okay, so now that we have like the headline going int over strength, fast weapons over slow, and seal of righteousness over seal of command, let's talk about why do it. So the benefit is obviously having more mana. The consequence is going to be having less strength or like passive DPS. But what it will make us able to do is to do group content better, faster, and more efficiently. We'll have less gear in our bags, so that you don't have to like have your strength set and then change to a healer set or a tanking set for dungeons if you want a healer tank. And it's going to make us a lot more safe in the open world because we can trade our mana effectively for health. So the usual paladin killer of running on a mob should be very much mitigated. Of course it can happen, especially later on if you're doing like bigger AoE pulls, but especially early on it should never be an issue. I've had like several mobs on me. I almost killed them. I'm unlucky, I get like 2 more mobs, and I'm still pretty fine, right? Okay, so let's jump straight into talents. So for our talents, we're going to be starting off in the Holy Tree. Of course, we'll get 5 out of 5 Divine Intellect. The extra strength is like not great. The extra mana can save us, might make us able to cast another heal. We'll then go Spiritual Focus, giving us higher chance of not losing cast time when we take damage, which is really good because a lot of the time we do have to heal in combat with mobs hitting us, and this is gonna give us faster heals and might save your ass. the improved Seal of Righteousness, it seems good, but the 15% you get here is based on its base damage, which is usually pretty low, so it's not gonna equate to a lot of damage. We're going the safe route with more mana, more likely to get heals off, and faster if you have mobs on you. Then we'll get Consecration, which will help us in AoE and tanking scenarios. And then we're basically done in the Holy Tree. After this, we'll go into Protection, get a Readout, which is a really fucking good talent to pick up. So we'll go 5 out of 5 in that. Then we'll get Precision, because hit is OP. Guardian's Favor, which is really good. Might save you or your teammates as like a lot of the time. And Freedom is very underrated in hardcore. Like, everyone knows how good it is, but people should actually use it a bit more. Then it's kind of, you can go where you want. You probably want to get Kings, because that is really good. The extra mana or might, like attack power, it's good, but it's not like super big. So now you probably want to do either of these. If you're going to be tanking a lot, like in dungeons, you probably want to get a few points into here. If not, I would suggest you go into this. Like, it's not super high value because we do want to block, but it's usually not like the blocked amount is usually like not super big, right? It's more that you prevent like crushing or critical attacks and stuff like that. Okay, so like after these two, which either way you go, I would suggest you get Toughness. The defense is good for mitigation, but it will decrease our chance to get crit. And if we don't get crit, we kind of don't get the Readout proc, right? So it's kind of, you can do it in whichever way you want to do. I will probably do something like this. Then we get Blessing of Sanctuary. There is an argument to whenever at 30 you drop the Holy Tree to get Blessing of Sanctuary. Like, I'm not sold, to be honest. Like, the spiritual focus is just too good in my opinion. But it's definitely something that people do. Then we're gonna go 5 out of 5 Reckoning because OP, and then you should go into 100 Specialization. This will increase the damage you deal while wearing 100 melee weapons, as far as I know. It's not the actual attacks that's increased by 10. It should be everything you deal. Actually, let me check that. Yeah, so it should affect all damage you do. So it's kind of good, right? And then whenever you're this far, you can kind of do what you want, right? Maybe you go like Holy Shield. It's good, right? But it costs a lot of mana. Okay, so now that we've gotten this far, like there is an argument to just get Sanctuary. Let's see. Okay, so we do this, and then you kind of go into more into Holy. Yeah, maybe like usually Lay on Hands is pretty good. It could save your ass. I would probably go it for hardcore, I think. But the fair could also be good, right? But not a lot of mobs fair. And then you probably finish off. Yeah, something like this. Like this would probably be your best hybrid build if you're either gonna tank or not. Like you have everything you need in terms of tanking. Like you're missing out on Reckoning and 100 Specialization, which is definitely damage, right? But if you take the talents into Holy, you'll also be able to heal, which you probably want to do, especially if you have like a warrior friend or someone in your guild. Okay, so let's talk about tanking viability. So Paladin tanks in Classic is kind of yikers, right? But while leveling, it's definitely okay. might be harder and harder like on the later levels, but especially for the first half or 3/4, you should be super fine. Your best healer is probably a priest bringing stamina, which is of course super good, especially in hardcore. And you definitely should make sure that your group, this is hardcore in general, right? But you should definitely make sure that your group isn't like retarded. You don't have the same threat that warrior have. However, you'll definitely hold your own. You're pretty good for AoE tanking with Consecrate. However, like people have to chill on threat at the start. So in the background, you've probably seen me do DM. This is first time tanking as a warrior in the classic. It went pretty fine. We had like a fuck up, but nothing that a good group wouldn't be able to handle, right? And especially if you bring engineering, which I did, like having the bombs and shit really helps with AoE threat, but also control if you get the bombs instead of the nades. So you like threat wise, you're fine. Tanky wise, your mitigation is pretty good. Like it really comes online when you get readout, right? So, but as soon as you, in my opinion, as soon as you get consecration, you're fine to tank. Before that, I would probably wait. So I wouldn't do like go in as a tank at 18, right? But we do have Inscare, so you should be able to heal if you want to go early into DM. I would probably not suggest you do that. So I want to touch a bit more on gearing. So early game, it's kind of like you might ask, what gear should I go? Up into 20, you basically have the gear that you get, right? As I said, you should try to buy cheap intense stam gear. However, after 20, that's kind of where you're able to choose your quest rewards a bit more. You'll be able to do dungeons or buy even more gear, because now you should be making a bit of a bank. So especially later on, when you get Seal of Wisdom, that's when the fast weapons really come into play. So each strike you do with your weapon while having Seal of Wisdom up has a 2/3 chance, 66%, to proc, right? And it does not matter if you have a slow or fast weapon. So that means per minute having a faster weapon is greatly gonna increase your MP5. This also goes for a Seal of Light, of course. So like our big thing is go int, fast weapon, probably 100 and shield, especially in hardcore. You'll be able to heal, you'll be able to tank, you'll be able to DPS like about as good as a rat, especially in dungeons, because you can actually AoE, which the rat wouldn't be able to do. Okay, so that's going to be the guide for int and stamina build on a Paladin in classic hardcore. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next one. And in the description below, I'll link to Paladin's YouTube, where I kind of got a lot of this information. However, it's very long form videos, so I wanted to make this kind of more condensed version. But if you want to see the numbers more, or if you have like more questions or anything, feel free to post it down below, and also check out his videos. Okay, see ya, bye!